This is my second video update for the day. I am coming to you from Monastiraki, Athens, Greece. As you can see, a lot of tourists, a lot of people around in this square. This is one of the main tourist squares of the city. You have the Acropolis up that way. A lot of old churches. The flea market is down there, and we're going to take a walk towards the flea market, and we're going to talk about the news, and we're going to talk about Ursula von der Crazy. We'll talk about Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO chief. We will also discuss Lithuania and Kaliningrad and Moldova as well, and we'll talk about the breaking news of the cruise missiles that the Russians sent over to a meeting of Ukraine generals and military officials. We'll also do a very quick clown world as well. But the first story I want to get to is I want to talk about Ursula von der Crazy and her statement to the press at the same time that Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, was giving a speech at the St. Petersburg International Forum. Ursula von der Crazy came out with this gem of a statement to the media. She said that she is supporting the European Union, and the European Commission is supporting the candidacy 100% of Ukraine and Moldova. A lot of people are not talking about the candidacy of Moldova as well to the EU, because Moldova is taking some very aggressive moves vis-a-vis Russian citizens, Russian speakers, people of Russian origin, and they're clamping down on media, on the Russian language, and all kinds of things like that. But they've also gotten the backing of the European Commission with regards to their candidacy to the EU. But Ursula said this with regards for Ukraine. She said, Ukrainians are ready to die for the European perspective. Ukrainians are ready to die for the European perspective. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told a news conference as she was wearing Ukrainian colors, a yellow blazer over a blue blouse. Quote, "We want them to live with us, the European dream. We want them to live with us, the European dream." So, Ukrainian people are ready to die for the European perspective. And, oh, we got the music. I have to bolt. The music and the YT sensors, they're going to crush me. But I don't know how I'm going to get through this video because there are a ton of distractions here. But we'll make it through. So basically, Ursula von der Crazy is echoing what Mark Rutte said just a couple of days ago, which is that we're going to fight the Russians using Ukrainians. And we're going to throw the Ukrainians in the Donbass in order to die so that we can fight the Russians. And then, of course, Ursula von der Leyen talks about the European dream, whatever that means. I don't know. What does that mean? The European dream. Austerity, bankruptcy, closing banks, living in poverty. I'm not sure exactly what the European dream is, but Ursula von der Leyen is just pretty much saying what Mark Rutte said. Ukrainians are going to die in order to pursue some sort of crazy, weird European fantasy of bringing Russia to its knees, of destroying Russia. That's pretty much Ursula von der Leyen's statements. So from Ursula von der Crazy, let's move over to NATO chief, Mr. Stoltenberg. So Stoltenberg was also speaking to the media ahead of the NATO conference that's going to take place actually, I think, in Madrid. And Stoltenberg said that during this NATO conference, for which I believe Turkey will not vote yes for Finland and Sweden, and boy, is that going to be an embarrassment, but let's wait for the conference and we'll see what Turkey does. But Stoltenberg said that NATO is going to announce that Russia is going to be moved from a partner country to a country that is, quote, a threat to NATO's security. So Russia is a threat to NATO. NATO is not a threat to Russia. Russia is a threat to NATO. We are seeing some serious escalation. And this was Stoltenberg, who just, I don't know, 3-4 days ago was saying that President Zelensky and Ukraine, that they need to come to the negotiating table and they need to accept that they're going to take territorial losses. You see how everything has changed in a matter of days? And you went from the collective West talking about Ukraine and Zelensky coming to some sort of an agreement, some sort of terms with the Russians because they are losing and they're going to need to cede territory. This was Stoltenberg saying Ukraine has to accept territorial losses. To literally 3-4 days later, Stoltenberg coming out and giving a statement saying that Russia is now going to be categorized as a threat to NATO. And he also said, I almost forgot the best part. You see, I'm already distracted. Stoltenberg also said that that if NATO continues to provide arms and weapons to Ukraine, then they will be able to push the Russians out of the Donbass. That was an actual statement from Stoltenberg. In other words, escalation. So in a matter of days, we've gone from the collective West talking about Ukraine accepting territorial loss and trying to find an off-ramp to literally talking about escalation and now pushing the Russians out of Donbass by giving more and more weapons to the Ukraine military. So a complete change of direction in a matter of days. And all of this has to be due to the meeting from Macron, Draghi, Schultz, and Johannes. Something at that meeting freaked everybody out. And now you've got a complete reverse course where NATO was talking about, NATO, the EU, the US, they were talking about, this is like the flea market, by the way. They were talking about finding some sort of off-ramp, and now all they're talking about is escalation. My morning video talked about the Washington Post article, which was basically talking up escalation and how the U.S. and their allies are in the war with Russia for the long haul. And now you have these statements, one from Ursula von der Leyen, basically saying it's okay for Ukrainians to die in the war because, you know, hey, it's all about those European values. It's incredible. I mean, she's the whole thing is disgusting. The whole thing is disgusting, what Rutte and van der Leyen are saying. And now you have the NATO Secretary General saying that we have to get weapons into Ukraine to continue to escalate and push the Russians out of Donbass. And that Russia is going to be categorized as a threat. So you can see they sell all kinds of stuff here in this flea market. Incredible. They have everything here. You name it, they've got it. And what else do we want to talk about? 2 more stories. We want to talk about the breaking news. The breaking news that happened literally a couple of hours ago before I decided to record this video. And that is coming from the Russian Ministry of Defense. That is why I believe this is credible, because it's not coming from some Telegram channel or some other analysts. This is coming from the Ministry of Defense. I believe RT Sputnik, they've already confirmed this, and that is that the Russians have taken out 50 generals. Not me. He's calling someone else. That guy. That the Russians, they used Kalibr cruise missiles to take out 50 Ukraine generals and commanders who were having a meeting in a town right outside of Dnipropetrovsk. They also took out around 20 armored vehicles and 10 howitzers in the Nikolaev region with Kalibr missiles as well. And the Russians, they're just showing that they can hit Ukraine anywhere, anytime, if they want to. And this is a big strike. I mean, if the reports are true, and they took out 50 generals and commanders, And this is a big, big blow. And then they take out 10 howitzers. They take out the howitzers pretty much the next day, the day after the U.S. says that they're going to double the howitzers that, what did they say, the HIMARS? They're going to double the HIMARS that they're going to send to Ukraine. And Germany said that they're also going to send an extra howitzer to make it 3. And all of this, this alleged military buildup that the EU and the US is talking up with regards to Ukraine. They're saying they're going to send all of these MLRS systems and howitzers, once again, in order to push back the Russians and to defeat the Russians. And so what do the Russians do? They come out with cruise missile strikes, and they just take out 20 vehicles, 10 howitzers, bam, and then they just take out 50 generals and commanders who were in some sort of meeting in and around Dnipropetrovsk. And they did this from, the interesting part is they did this from the Black Sea. So from the Black Sea, they hit Dnipro, and then they hit Nikolaev. And so the Russians are definitely planning some move towards Nikolaev. Let's go up this way. So they're planning a move towards Nikolaev, and they hit these, they hit the howitzers and they hit the armored vehicles. And in right outside of the Donbass, they strike the generals in Dnipro. And you had the report about the tugboat. I don't know if it was true that the Ukrainians hit a tugboat yesterday, something like that, which really has not been confirmed by anybody anywhere. But you know, this is what the Ukraine Ministry of Defense stated, specifically a Major General Marchenko. And so what do you have the Russians do after you have this news report about the tugboat and hitting a tugboat in the Black Sea? Well, they strike from the Black Sea using Kalibr missiles. And you also had statements out of the collective West as well saying that the Russians are running out of missiles. And, well, obviously the Russians are not running out of missiles. This was a big, big strike, a big blow that that was delivered today. And the Russians can strike pretty much anywhere if they want to. If they want to, they can strike anywhere, anytime, and with precision. So let's walk this way. So that's that story. And we'll talk a little bit. Oh, and this strike also follows the announcement from Lithuania, the action taken by Lithuania, which was to prevent the railways from Russia to Kaliningrad. So the Lithuanians, under the EU's command, they decided to prevent rail travel, basically railways that are transporting construction materials. They prevented those railways from reaching Kaliningrad. And I wonder if this strike, this Kalibr strike, was also a message to NATO and to Lithuania. I wouldn't doubt that. But it could be the Russians saying, you know what, Lithuania, you better be careful. You better be careful. Oh boy, I hope I'm not going to have to cut that out. I don't know if you guys heard "Eye of the Tiger" there, the song, but hopefully I don't have to edit that out. Let's see. There's a lot of music here, which is going to make this video really, really hard in the editing process. So I think I'm going to have to cut this video short, and maybe I'll do a clown world. So anyway, just to wrap up what I'm saying about Lithuania, look, the Russians can get what they need to get to Kaliningrad via sea. They've already said that they can do it via sea, but I wouldn't be surprised if this uptick, this escalation from the Russian side of things is in response to all of these actions, NATO rhetoric, Ursula von der Crazy's rhetoric, and the actions taken by Lithuania. So let's talk then about Clown World, and let's do a really, really quick Clown World session. It has to do with Nikolaev, the region in Nikolaev, which the Russians, I believe, are preparing to move towards after they're done wrapping up the Donbass. And in Nikolaev, you have the Ukraine government announcing that they will not be teaching Russian in schools any longer. They are banning the Russian language, and let me find the article here. Here we go. Well, I'm going to take you guys to Hadrian's library as well. The Russian language to be outlawed at Nikolaev schools from September 1st, according to the city council. So from September 1st, there will be no electives, courses, primary school classes instructing in Russian or design of the educational environment. So I find it really funny that, I've said this before in the past, that you have Ukraine trying to erase everything Russian when it is the Russian culture and the history that gave them this their very existence, that gave them the country of Ukraine. It's like you try to erase the very history that brought you into being. And it's just so bizarre that they do this. I've said it a couple of times. Ukraine is really a or at least they want to be, a real postmodernist state. Erase the past, wipe out the past, wipe out everything that made us who we are, and design something entirely new, different, and claim that is our history and culture. I just don't see how you erase Russian language and culture and history from Ukraine when it's that very Russian language, culture, and history that made Ukraine, like actually made the territory, the country, the region of Ukraine. Anyway, very bizarre story. And I thought I was going to end it on a clown world, but I actually want to end it. I'm here at Hadrian's library, right over here. Let me walk up and give you guys a better view of this. I want to actually not end this on a clown world. I want to end this on one more story, which I forgot, which has to do with Dmitry Medvedev, former president of Russia, former prime minister of Russia. He's he's the deputy head of the Security Council in Russia. Very powerful, very influential member of the Kremlin's decision-making team. Anyway, Dmitry Medvedev came out with a statement either today, actually I think today. He came out with a statement and he said that Ukraine is going to get into the EU sometime in the middle of the century, i.e. 2050. That was his first statement was that. And then he then added that Ukraine getting into the EU is contingent on if the EU even exists, as he compared the European Union to the Soviet Union. And basically, Medvedev said that what's going to happen to the European Union is what happened to the Soviet Union. In other words, it's just going to dissolve or break apart and be no more. So basically, Medvedev was saying that this whole EU, Ukraine, and Moldova candidacy is just one big media PR ploy. Whoop. Move through the gates here. Give everyone a look. And let me move through the gates right there. And so those were the statements from the very influential, very powerful Dmitry Medvedev. And this is the library of Hadrian, and the entrance is down that way, of course. So there's a lot of, and right up there, you might be able to see the Acropolis. Actually, just stick with me for 10 seconds, and I'm going to see if I can get you guys a better view of the Acropolis. So those are the statements from Dmitry Medvedev. I think he's right. I would be stunned if if either of these countries, Moldova or Ukraine, get into the EU before 2050. As I said, Turkey, Serbia, many countries have been candidate EU countries for 20, 30 years now. So the candidacy really means nothing. And I would be even more shocked if the EU is around by 2030. I was going to say 2040, but 2030. I would be stunned if there even is a European Union to talk about. Okay, so it was worth coming up here. And there's the Acropolis right up there. Everyone can see it. And so we'll walk right around and we'll end the video. And so you know what the candidacy, the Ukraine candidacy thing is, and the Moldova candidacy thing is. The Moldova one is meant to create more tension for Russia. You know, try to open up a second front in Moldova, try to create tension, try to goad the Russians into taking action in Moldova, taking action in Lithuania. That's what the Moldova EU candidacy thing is all about. And the Ukraine candidacy thing is simply about actually two things. One of the things is pretty disgusting and evil. The one thing that it's about is providing false hope to the Ukraine military so that they continue to fight for Europeans, as Ursula von der Leyen said, continue to die for Europe and for Europeans. Provide false hope to the Ukraine military because they're not winning, but Ursula von der Leyen and Mark Rutte and Stoltenberg and the neocon, very windy. One sec. All right. Come on, wind, die down. Okay. And the neocons in DC, they would like the Ukrainians to continue to fight all the way to the end for them, not for their country, not for their families, but for them, which is disgusting. And the other reason why they gave Ukraine the candidacy is to provide the bureaucrats and the kleptocrats in Brussels a PR victory, so that they can say, you know what, you see, we've managed to get Ukraine and Moldova into the EU as candidate countries, so we're sticking it to Putin. So it gives them a little bit of a cover for the terrible, destructive, catastrophic job that they're doing as our leaders. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna leave it there, everybody. Here in Monastiraki, Athens, Greece. I'm trying to show you everything I can. It's a very, very windy day here, a lot of people. But I will leave it there, theduran.locals.com. Take care, everybody.